Hello, in this video I would like to discuss 5 topics. The first topic is Krishi Upad Mandi Amendment Bill 2020. So this is a recent bill that is passed in the State Assembly of Chhattisgarh, and we'll see what this amendment bill is about. So as the name says, this is about agriculture with the name of Krishi Upad and Mandi. This is about the marketplace of the agricultural produce. So we can derive something out of the heading. So let us see what this is about. So this is about agricultural produce markets. So for regulation of agricultural produce markets, who has to take up the authority or the right? So this is bringing some changes with this end. So the regulation under Krishi Upad Mandi Amendment Bill 2020 seeks to have the complete ownership by the state regarding agricultural produce markets and not by the center. So this is the point in the bill. So by this bill, the state government of Chhattisgarh is bringing 3 new things in agricultural produce markets, and they are deemed mandis. So it is going to establish deemed mandis. Mandis are the marketplaces which are completely under the state government of Chhattisgarh and not by the center. And the second change is this is going to bring up electronic trading platforms. So they are also going to be under state and not the center. So not just in the mandis this agricultural produce is sold, but also through electronic portals also. And stocking is done by agricultural businesses that tie up with the state. And so far we know that stocking is done by a central agency called Food Corporation of India, FCI. But this Chhattisgarh, which brought this bill, from now on it is going to have the stocking of all the agricultural produce by agricultural businesses in the state itself under the state government. So this is bringing much authority of regulation of agricultural produce markets to state and not the center. So this is the very new bill after the center has passed farm bills. So as a response to these farm bills, this amendment bill is done by the Chhattisgarh state. And the next topic is Indigen Genome Project. So this is about genome sequencing. So we know that genome sequencing is a part in genetics where genomes of individuals are sequenced. So in this particular thing, this is to do with the ethnically diverse backgrounds of population. So we are all ethnically diverse in our backgrounds and we all have different genomes, and to sequence our genomes together and to bring some beautiful outcomes that will be useful in medicine. So this is the main objective of Indigen Genome Project. So based on the ethnical diversity of individuals, 1029 healthy individuals are selected so far and they are genome sequenced. So this is taken up by CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. This project is launched in 2019 April. So since then we have got 1029 healthy individuals genome sequenced. And this is a very good step in predictive and preventive medicine. So prediction is about diagnosis of a disease, and prevention is when we diagnose a disease, we tend to prepare medication for that. So that is preventive medication. And prediction and preventive medicine branch is going to be benefited out of this project. And with this good diagnosis, we can also heal rare genetic diseases so that come in different populations with different ethnic backgrounds. People with different ethnic backgrounds will have different genetic diseases. So in order to treat them, this Indigen Genome Project is launched in India. So the third topic is electricity access in India and benchmark distribution utilities. So this is a huge name, but this is all just a report. The report of electricity access, how many people are going to use what range of electricity in their rural areas, and the benchmark distribution utilities. So distribution companies of electricity, how much electricity they need. So regarding all these statistics, there is a report. The name of this report is Electricity Access in India and Benchmark Distribution Utilities Report. So this is given by NITI Aayog, and this is about knowing how much electricity demand is there from customers and distribution companies of electricity. So this is done by collaboration of 3 institutes or 3 setup under 3 various institutes. They are Smart Power India, Rockefeller Foundation and Ministry of Power. So Ministry of Power is leading it in collaboration with these 2 institutes. So under this 10 states are surveyed. So 10 states are surveyed which cover over 65% of rural population. So by this survey, the NITI Aayog will be giving a report how much electricity is demanded by consumers and distribution companies. So this is a report that is recently launched by NITI Aayog. And the fourth topic for today is ASER. So the full form of it is Annual State of Education Report. So this is C, Annual State of Education Report. So as the name says, this is about report about education. This is taken up by a non-government organization, NGO, called Pratham. So this has been working to bring this report since 15 years by now, and this report is done, or the survey is done annually. It means once in a year, and the month chosen is September. Every September, NGO Pratham takes up this survey to calculate the education that is present, especially in rural area. So this has an objective, or this looks into rural education and learning outcomes. So how far there is education playing in rural areas, and how much outcome that education is having in rural areas. So this is the main objective, and the criteria to see these two things, the criteria taken are reading skills. They'll evaluate reading skills of these rural students and arithmetic skills. So the how much good knowledge they do have in numericals. This is about what it does take for criteria. And the findings of this particular year, this September 2020, had some COVID-19 impact on it. So obviously it would have, because students are confined to schools, to homes, unlike in schools. So they do not have textbooks. So 20% of rural students don't have textbooks. So they lack education for this year. And 30% of these rural students have no learning access at all. So they cannot have these online portals or internet at their homes, so they do not have this learning activity going on at their homes at all. So these two impacts are the recent findings of Annual State of Education Report due to COVID-19 this particular year. So this is taken up by non-government organization called Pratham. So the last topic for today is Shandong. So Shandong is the name of an aircraft carrier of China. And the speciality of Shandong aircraft carrier is, this is the first domestically built aircraft of China, aircraft carrier of China. So China, by this, it has two aircraft carriers that are ready to combat aircrafts. We call them as combat ready aircrafts. So the first one is Liaoning. So Liaoning was given to China by Russia, and this was deployed from 2012. And this recent Shandong is built in China itself by PLA Navy, People Liberation Army Navy. And this is deployed recently in 2019. So by this, China has got two aircraft carriers, combat ready aircraft carriers. The recent one being Shandong, as it is the first domestically built. This is important. And the first one is Liaoning, which came into China in 2012 from Russia. This Liaoning is an old USSR time ship. So this is also a kind of antique and a very old one. And by this, China has got two aircraft carriers. So these are the 5 topics for today, and thank you.